management as well to join in and talk about how their quarterly performance was. J.S Gujral, the MD at SYRMA SGS Technologies, joins in on the show right now. Mr. Gujral, hi, good morning. Good to have you on ET now. I'm just looking at your numbers. Strong revenue growth is what you've posted this quarter, but your EBITDA margin at 3.8%, sir, is the lowest ever reported. What went wrong? Why the pressure on the margins?
Not 3.8, it's 4.8%. As I had guided in my earlier calls also, you see, we have a seasonal variation in the product mix. In the current quarter, the consumer accounted for about 54% of my revenue against the annualized target of about 40%. Hence, this contraction in the margin. But going forward for the remaining 3 quarters, we are very confident that we'll be able to achieve our guided revenue with a EBITDA of about 315 crores for the year on a whole.
Now, for a business which is growing at double digit, when are we likely to see benefits of operating leverage?
See, in this quarter, so year on year, we have had a 4% operating leverage in terms of operating overheads, which unfortunately got offset by the change in the product mix for this particular quarter. So once we go to the normalized business for the full year, I think we would see the operating leverages kicking in. And on a full year basis, they would kick in from end of this year to the next year, as we are building up big capacities to cater to the growth which we are doing.
We had margins of 6% plus. Eventually, will things settle there?
We have guided around 7%, so around ballpark about 7% with the 40-45% growth rate in revenues is what we are targeting, and we are confident of doing that in this year.
Breakup of your divisions, auto is growing at 29%, but even on a large base, consumer has gone from 230 crores to 600. That's a big jump in your consumer vertical. Why is that? Anything specific, any large orders which have come there?
So these are the orders which we are already executing. Q1 of last year was pretty low, and the Q3, Q4 of last year were high. Based on that, we have orders for fiber to home products, which we believe would be end of the year, they should be stabilizing at about 40% of our total revenues against 54% in this quarter. This 54% is an aberration of the total sales. It should be around 40% on a normalized basis for the full year.
Okay, fair enough. And what about the kind of guidance as well that you can share with us? Because the last time I understand you had given an FY25 revenue guidance of 40 to 45%, EBITDA margin sustaining at 7%. I just want to understand whether or not you are revising these and what is going to be the key drivers.
No, we are very confident of achieving this. We're not revising them upwards or downwards. Going forward with the order book position which we have in hand, we believe we are on track to achieve the top line and the EBITDA margins and generate a positive cash flow.
Your order book position at hand, and what is the visibility?
We have an order book of about 4,500 crores.
Okay.
As of 30th of June 2024. Bulk of which it is from the high margin business. Hence the confidence that we would be able to achieve the top line and the bottom line, which is around 7%, 315 crores, what we had guided the street with about 4,500 crores of revenue. We are on track to achieve that. In the coming quarters, healthcare would grow significantly. First quarter was a very subdued business on the healthcare business, though compared to last year, it has grown because even last year, the healthcare was a bit low. We expect the healthcare business to contribute about 350 to 360 crores this year in our revenues, and that's a high margin business.
Okay. So if you expect the margins eventually for the full year would settle at 7% because we are talking about FY25 guidance, right? That's means right. Next 2 quarters, the margins have to be north of 8.5 to 9% so that the blended number will come at 7?
Over the next 3 quarters, the blended figure would come to at 7%. So obviously it means that it has to go up to 7.5%, 8%, 8.5%. In some quarters, it could be 8.5%, 9% also.
Okay.
But on an overall basis, 7% is the EBITDA margin which we are targeting at, and we're very confident of achieving that.
Appreciate your time. Nice to have you back. That's SYRMA SGX for you in terms of the management and what they feel that the growth is going to be much superior in the second half rather than the first half. Hemang Jani, good morning. Thank you for joining us.